What's up, Woodrow? Andy on YouTube, what's going on? What's going on? Lori on YouTube, what's up? Larry May. What's going on, everybody? David. Two Davids on YouTube. North Carolina. David Davis, what's going on? What's going on, everybody? Figure I'll go live for a little bit since I didn't go this morning. There wasn't much to talk about this morning. Still not much, although now there is. Wait for some people to get in here. I'm not going to do a long stream. Just want to say hello, see what's going on. Hello, Helen on YouTube. Lisa on X, Jeanette on X. Hello, everybody. Lonnie on Facebook. What's going on? Tim, YouTube. What's going on? Marsha, yeah, I'm late. There wasn't much to talk about this morning. Marilyn on Facebook. Joe on Facebook. Drag Blacker. What's going on? Hello, Joyce on Facebook. Lisa on X. What's going on, everybody? Just wanted to jump on here for a little bit. Not going to stay too long. Not a whole heck of a lot has happened. Other than Biden trying to get us into World War III. Or who knows? I don't know what he's doing. What's going on, everybody? Welcome on in. Fred Olson, good morning from Florida. Hope things are well there. All right, let's wait. I'll wait for some people to get in, but we can let's turn the music off. So how's everybody doing? Hope you had a good weekend. Damon, have you heard anything about all the new IRS agents? No, I have not. I mean, obviously we've heard about them throughout the last 4 years, hiring them, funding them. I don't suspect that funding is going to last too long. Once January 20th comes and goes, but I'm sure they'll try to figure out what they can do about that. Be interesting to see how serious Trump is about getting rid of the whole income tax, which would effectively render, I think, the IRS. Well, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see what his ideas are. You never know. Perfect lead into what we're going to talk about. You never know what Trump's thinking or what he's researching to get done what he wants to get done. Case in point. This morning, about 5 minutes ago, I see this post from our own Steve Gruber. Trump has told Senate Majority Leader Thune that if Representative Matt Gaetz is not confirmed by the Senate, he will appoint him using the Federal Vaccines Reform Act of 1998. And I just take you back to the conversations we have had here in the mornings for the last 2 weeks, saying, you know, it just doesn't seem to me that Trump would be going into this without some kind of a plan, number one. And number two, Can't imagine he went in thinking that Matt Gaetz could get an up and down vote. And both of those things, I think, are still true. What did I say? Vaccine? I'm sorry. Federal Vacancies Reform Act. Yes, sorry. It looked quick. Yes, not Vaccines Act. The Vacancies Act. Yes. And so we talked about the fact that Trump, you would figure, had to have some kind of plan. He didn't just throw Matt Gaetz' name out there thinking, oh yeah, they'll just roll right over and put him in there with no problem. Well, now this morning we get a little look at maybe what that has been, what the research has been. Trump has told Senate Majority Leader Thune. Now, all weekend I saw things on social media about Mitch McConnell, and I was thinking to myself, I thought Mitch McConnell was going away. I thought we were all going to be eventually rid of this. Mitch McConnell is there to undermine Trump. And I kept saying to myself, I thought Thune was the new guy now who was going to undermine Trump, working with everything he's learned from McConnell. So again, if this is true, then good for Trump, because he obviously smells the rat that Thune's going to be. Having learned from Mitch all these years, you couldn't trust him farther than you could throw him. And the fact that we just elected him leader tells you all you need to know about the guys in the Senate. Just we are so far from reforming the Senate into anything that would resemble what we would want. But this, and I think this speaks to that. And this also speaks to, he didn't go into this just thinking, oh, I'm just going to put up Matt Gaetz and just expect him to get an up and down 51 vote. Or maybe even not have to, maybe he thought the recess thing wasn't real either. So let's make sure we have an option 3. And it looks like this might be option 3. Which just shows you that he did not go into this just thinking, well, we'll just see what happens. So this is the part of the act that Steve posted. The Committee on Governmental Affairs, to which was referred the bill, to provide a mechanism for the temporary filling of positions that are legally appointed by the president, by and with the advice and consent of the Senate, and having considered the same, reports favorably on the bill as amended and recommends the bill as amended do pass. The purpose of the bill, the Federal Vacancies Reform Act, is to create a clear and exclusive process to govern the performance of duties of offices in the executive branch that are filled through presidential appointment by and with the consent of the Senate when a Senate-confirmed official has died, resigned, or is otherwise unable to perform the functions and duties of the office. So there's going to be a lot of consternation about this, obviously, in how possibly Matt Gaetz would qualify to be filled under this. People are saying, but Bannon talked about this morning. I didn't hear anything about that. I didn't get to see any of the show this morning. Yeah, Moon Pie. I saw this lunatic. I mean, why people even give that? I mean, guy says he's got like a secret plan, like he's just gonna under everybody's nose, he's just gonna form a secret shadow cabinet. Okay, go ahead, pal. But this is this just shows that President Trump's not playing around. If this reporting is in fact true, now maybe he's using it as just maybe he's, as we've talked about, everything is transactional. Maybe he's using it as a bargaining chip with Thune to say, listen, don't play with me out of the gate. Give me what I want, and then we can work on whatever. But don't stand in my way on my appointments, because I'm going to research and push the limits on everything possible to get my guys. Don't play around with me. Because if Biden can go tell everybody that he can forgive student loan and brag about trying to get around the Supreme Court, I'm here to play ball on the field that they play ball on, which, of course, we never get from our side. So very interesting. We'll see how this plays out. I'm sure this is going to get a lot of talk. I've already seen some of it. Matt Gaetz is not, how does he use this for Gaetz? This is not possible. Oh my God. The AI memes are getting out of control. Oh my God.
Flying catch up in the sky.
Oh my God, there's audio too. All right, well, here you go.
Jeff Clark jumping in at breaking. Trump has told Senate Majority Leader Thune that if Matt Gaetz is not confirmed by the Senate, he will appoint him using the Federal Vacancies Reform Act of 1998. Now, you just wrote a piece on what the power of the executive branch on these resource appointments. Jeff Clark, Mike, if you and Darren can hang on for a second. Is that along the lines of where President Trump just tweeted this out, or is this something different?
That's different from the recess appointment clause. So President Trump has both tools in his quiver, Steve. He has the recess appointment power, which is a constitutional power, and then he has the Congress given him power under the Federal Vacancies Reform Act, or what we call the FVRA, that allows putting in officials temporarily. So both things exist, and I'd actually written some internal papers and done a lot of research about the FVRA as well, so I know how that works. And the last thing I would say is that Darren Beatty got on talking about the False Claims Act. That was the act that the Civil Division administered, which I had charge of during the Trump administration at the end. And also, the Civil Division has charge of defending FVRA challenges, and we faced a lot of them against Chad Wolf, especially at the Department of Homeland Security. So this is a key tool that President Trump also has to fill out his cabinet and sub-cabinet.
Does your paper, and we'll get it, does your paper and analysis say that basically President Trump can force the hands of both houses of Congress to basically put him into recess, and then he does his recess appointments? I just want to make sure that, Rachel, that Nicole Wallace's head blows up appropriately today for her show. Are you saying that President Trump can actually force the houses into recess and do his appointments then?
So, Steve, under the Constitution, if the two houses disagree about whether to adjourn or stay in session, then the president has the power to send them into recess, both houses, for as long as he sees fit. So it's a very important power. It hasn't been wielded in the past before, but the framers were keen on giving that power to the president. It's an analog of a power that existed at English law.
Jeff Clark jumping in at breaking.
There you go. And we talked about this in quite some detail last week, that there was two ways we could get to recess appointments. With Mike Johnson and Thune on board, it's we could do it the easy way, boys, or we can do it the hard way. You can either be on board, or I can do it myself, which is the scenario that Jeff Clark just laid out. And now you throw the Vacancies Reform Act in there, and it sounds like President Trump, as much as he maybe doesn't want to, is not going to be playing. We're not going to be playing games here. And he's taking the time right now to say, I have a lot of arrows in my quiver, and I will not be afraid to use them. So pick your fights smartly, boys. Pick the fights that you really want to fight. And by the way, this is clearly a message beyond just to Thune and to Mike Johnson. It is a message to all 52, 53 members of the new incoming Senate and of all of them in the House as well, but more certainly to the Senate. Don't play games with me. I have many things to push the envelope. The envelope has been pushed against us for 4 years, as hard as you can push it. We laid this out to the American people. They voted. Now we get to set the terms for what that victory will look like going forward for 4 years. You don't get to set it. And certainly you within our own party are not going to act as roadblocks. And I want you to know that I'm up on everything at my disposal that I can use, whether you like it or not. So think about the fights that you want to fight against me right now as we get into after January 3rd when you all go to work. And then obviously January 6th, and then that 2 weeks in between there and January 20th. Is this a fight you really want to fight against me now? I suspect most of them will say no. So the other, I guess, semi-news of the day is this clip.
Over the past week, Joe and I have heard from so many people, from political leaders to regular citizens, deeply dismayed by several of President-elect Trump's cabinet selections, and they are scared. Last Thursday, we expressed our own concerns on this broadcast and even said we would appreciate the opportunity to speak with the president-elect himself. On Friday, we were given the opportunity to do just that. Joe and I went to Mar-a-Lago to meet personally with President-elect Trump. It was the first time we have seen him in 7 years.
Now, we talked about a lot of issues, including abortion, mass deportation, threats of political retribution against political opponents, and media outlets. We talked about that a good bit. And it's going to come as no surprise to anybody who watches this show, has watched it over the past year or over the past decade, that we didn't see eye to eye on a lot of issues, and we told him so.
What we did agree on was to restart communications. My father often spoke with world leaders with whom he and the United States profoundly disagreed. That's a task shared by...
I'll just stop it there because my ending comments are going to be the same. Who gives a crap? Now, you know, as I said, I think I tweeted this morning. Trump is always going to be the more magnanimous than people ever give him credit for. And again, you look at some of these appointments that we're looking at now, and some of the history between Trump and these people. Marco Rubio, some of these others. But I have to tell you, I guess, I don't know. I guess in one respect, good for the president for being able to say, let's let bygones be bygones and have them down there. I wouldn't have had those two losers anywhere near Mar-a-Lago. I would have told them to go pound sand, kiss off. Hitler says, you're not allowed to come down here. Literal Hitler says, you're still not allowed to come down here. Or whatever other qualifier you want to put in front of the word Hitler, still says, you're never allowed to come down here. We have no interest in talking to you. The American people have no interest in what you say. Nobody cares if you want to open up communications because we've actually watched you for a decade, some of us. We've heard what you said. And we know damn well if Trump had lost, you think they would have been reaching out to say we want to start opening communications? Give me a break. In one respect, I have no idea why he would even have them down there. But in the other respect, he's always going to be the more magnanimous person. Look at him on Saturday night at UFC. Mayor of New York City comes over, has a nice conversation with him, shakes his hand. I was actually in New York City on Saturday night. Walked right by Madison Square Garden. Tried to get tickets to the event, but they were just outrageously expensive. And then I found out that we were doing some coverage of, I guess we had a camera, or some of the networks had camera inside UFC, just pointed at Trump the whole night. And I would have loved to join the boys, but again, I was actually in the city there. Couldn't get in, but couldn't also make it back home in time enough to get into the studio. But I have no idea why the president would even entertain these two losers. But it seems like he did, so good for him for being the bigger person. But they get out. We agreed to who gives a crap what you agreed to? Nobody's watching you. That's why you're there. You're there to save your ass. You're there to save your career, whatever career is left, and you're there to try to save your network, which might be going out of business or at least be sold. That's why you're there. There's a fake tweet going around that supposedly Trump put out, which is fake, but it's hilarious, about this supposed meeting. He says, whoever does those really nails Trump because you think they're real. Joe makes it sound like we had a summit. He just trashes Joe and then says, Mika was delightful as usual at the end. So, now I give him credit for being the bigger person. Keep your enemies closer. Yeah, keep your enemies closer. He has no use for these two. Again, when you say that, ask yourself, if the result had flipped, do you think Mika and Joe would have been reaching out to Trump to say, well, listen, you're a very important political figure on the scene. We know you're done running. You didn't win. No, they'd be screaming every morning about 10 years in jail wasn't enough. They should have put him away for 25, 30, let him die in there. Hitler. That's what they would have said. Think they would have been saying, come up to the studios, Donald, and let's open up communications. These two irrelevant fools? No, they would not have. They would not have. So, but it just shows you the degree to which they understand that they better start talking to half the country again and stop talking to the absolute lunatic fringe. Yeah, exactly right. And he never gets any credit for being it, but he's always the more magnanimous. Yeah. Imagine listening to them in the morning talk about that and then saying, okay, you know what? Invite them down. Huh. I wouldn't have if I was him. I can tell you that for sure.
And hang on 1 second. President Trump and Jeff Clark jump in at breaking. Trump has told Senate Majority Leader Thune that if Matt Gaetz is not confirmed by the Senate, he will appoint him using the Federal Vacancies Reform Act.
Okay. Yeah, that's the one we just saw. Boy, Saturday night was crazy. Tried to watch as much of it on my phone as possible. I saw a little bit of the last two fights by the time I got home. I saw Harry on the Highway, David Zier, Kalen Dorr, and a couple others at some point throughout the night doing some coverage of it on Rav. But what a fascinating night to watch. Well, first of all, it started on Friday night with Tyson and Jake Paul. Jake Paul able to help his idol and friend Mike Tyson retire comfortably, which is really all that was about. And they pulled it off well. Netflix Netflix has got some work to do if they think they're going to broadcast NFL football and other things in the future. Because that was an absolute, utter disaster of epic proportions. We went over to the America First Warehouse on Friday night to watch the Tyson fight. Joe the Box had a nice little get-together. But, oh, my God, what a disaster for Netflix. Absolute disaster. And a disaster for the audience who thought that that was going to be anything more than what it was. That was a good old, listen, Mike, I'm one of the best promoters ever. I'll get us 60,000 people in the place, and I'll get us 60 million streams on Netflix. You'll make 20 million. I won't touch you. You don't touch me. We'll do 8 rounds at 2 minutes. Can you make 16 minutes and you leave with 20 million and go have a nice life? That's exactly what it was. Now, I have to say the best fight of the night was the one before that, which was the women's fight. And Amanda Serrano got robbed, completely robbed, by 3 judges who must have been last name Wonder, Charles, and somebody else that didn't have really great eyesight. Because, man, oh, man, I don't know what the hell they were watching. Great fight, man. Anytime you get 2 fighters, women or men, who want to fight in a phone booth like they did, you can't ask for more than that. What an incredible, incredible fight. I mean, they literally fought in a phone booth for the whole night. It was wild. And Amanda Serrano should have absolutely won the fight, hands down. They took a point away from the other girl, and she still lost, which was absurd. A crime, quite frankly. But then Saturday night UFC, nobody does it better than Dana White. From a production standpoint, from a show standpoint, Trump's reception is just off the page in New York City and everywhere he goes. Damien, when is Zier coming back? I don't think Zier is coming back. Zier's doing his own stuff. He's doing Breaking Point still. He's been on the road. I think no matter where the UFC went, though, Trump's reception would be the same. His connection with the fighters, his connection with that audience is unlike a lot of places and unlike a lot of relationships. Just incredible. And of course, now the relationship he has with really this conglomerate of people that he's built through the election. Joe Rogan. Obviously, big hug for Joe Rogan. Went right over there. Obviously, Theo Vaughn, bussing with the boys. Guys from Barstool were there. He said hello to them. Aiden Ross, saw him go over to him. All of the real media now. Podcasters, shows like ours, networks like ours, the real media now really helped this whole thing happen. So it was a definitely feel-good moment, a feel-good night to have him there. Stayed the whole night, watched all the fights, all the fighters, man, the acknowledgement of him. Johnny Bones Jones, the best to ever do it, of course, retains and still does the Trump dance, points to him, acknowledges him in his speech. I mean, just incredible night. Incredible night. Dana White in the post-fight conference says, New York City feels like New York City again. Feels like a weight's been lifted off the country. We all feel it. It's undeniable. So now it was a great night. Good weekend. Good weekend of fights. Friday night was what it was, but, still. But Saturday was fantastic. Wish I could have been a part of that coverage Saturday night. If I had known earlier they were going to do it, I would have tried to make arrangements to be either in the joint, which would have been, the tickets were just crazy. Even the people around the Garden who had tickets, or scalpers selling it. I mean, they just, the closer you got to 8 o'clock, they still were just crazy. But yeah, good weekend overall. And then I wake up this morning, by the way, Brendan Carr at the FCC is a great appointment. I don't know much about the energy pick, but everybody has had pretty resounding picks on him. I've seen some clips. Look at these guys. Like
I'm looking at him as
this is what we're dealing with in this party.
He has done here, and it has been abhorrent. I'm not the only one who thinks this way. I just say the quiet part out loud, and I wish other of my colleagues would have the same courage to do so. But him as a member of Congress should not be the most powerful law enforcement individual in our country, and everyone knows it, and he's not going to get confirmed. And so this is solely based off of his job as a member of Congress within this body that has caused more harm, made us spend more money, has put us in more paralyzation than any other member. I'm looking at him as a member of Congress.
This is our side in a nutshell. Max Miller, who? I have no idea. With an R in front of his name, from Ohio. This is what we get. This is what we get. After watching 4 years of what's happened, this is the attitude still. Got to get up on our so appropriate soapbox and talk about our side. And, oh, he's mean. Oh, he's this. This is what we get. It's just incredible. It's just incredible, the difference in the two parties. The people that end up Moon Pie, Max Miller's your guy? That's what Drag says. Explain yourself. Explain yourself. Explain this. Explain him. How do you send him to us? Oh, he says, not mine. Just ridiculous. Look at Ben.
All right, Gavin, say it with me. Trump is my president. From the state capital, California. And to all the libtards out there, just practice. Trump is my president. Yeah, baby. And to all the illegals out there, it's time to self-deport. President Trump's coming for you. Now, look, here's the deal. You want to come back, you come through the front doors. You just don't come in the back way.
Everybody's welcome.
You don't. Unless they're illegal. Illegal. Illegal.
God loves everybody.
Yeah, that's right. But he says follow the law. He says follow the law. Let him kill your family. Say it with me. Trump is my president. Jesus is my savior. Hallelujah. We got some hallelujah. Amen. Just say it with me. Trump is my president. Jesus is my savior. All right, Gavin. Say it with me.
Oh, can we get Ben some security, please? Can we get Ben some security, please? Johnny Bones, the greatest to ever do it. Chiefs go down last night. How'd the odds makers do? I don't think the audience did well again. 1-4, I believe. 1-4 for Carey from Las Vegas. Not good. Not good. Sean Spicer. Amazing what plummeting ratings make a person do. Let me guess. Stephanie Rule is next. Exactly. 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 Gates is getting confirmed one way or the other. Trump's not playing around. He is way more prepared and focused than 2016. He had this planned out long before and will be executing. Exactly. This is what we said. He did not go into this with like, oh, let's see what happens. Oh, yeah, he'll get 51 votes. Baloney. He never thought that was going to be the case. And of course, I thought it was for sure going to be, the plan was to use his presidential powers to put both of them in recess, even though that had never really been challenged in court. He didn't care. But I didn't see this one coming this morning. So now he's got two avenues. And if you listen to Jeff Clark, maybe he's got more than two more avenues. Yeah, Darren Beatty, this is non-negotiable. He will be confirmed. He must be confirmed.
If anyone, you need to be loyal and a fighter, you need that person running the DOJ. And so that's why it's so critical for Matt Gaetz. This is the line in the sand. This is not negotiable. He will be confirmed. He must be confirmed.
We've said it all along. The AG pick was going to be the most important. I've seen some of this reporting about Elon and Boris Epstein. Who knows if it's true or not? It's probably overblown. Of course, there's going to be back and forth consternation within the camp about appointees. Boris has been around President Trump for a long time. Obviously, Elon more recently. Yeah, to restart communications. Who gives a crap if you want to restart communications? Nobody cares. I love these. The DOJ's concern of the appointment of Matt Gaetz as Attorney General could trigger a mass departure of long-serving civil servants. Okay, and what's the point? That is the point. The rats will scurry, and if you're not a rat, you don't need to scurry. Why would you? That's the whole idea. Matt will turn on Trump within months. and what's the reasoning? What's the reasoning behind that? What's the reasoning behind that? I'd love to hear that one.
See, so this is the obvious problem, right? If Trump is Hitler, or you can safely draw comparisons between Trump and Hitler, then why are you meeting with him, right? Because he's Hitler, or a modern day Hitler, or some version of Hitler, right? But if you never really believed Trump was Hitler and you said it because you thought it would, appeal to your audience.
Bingo. That's exactly why they always said it. It was all performative all the time. And everybody knew it. Everybody knew it. Now they're on their knees groveling. That's why, again, you wouldn't have seen me having them there. No way. Go pound sand. After everything you've said about me, my family, the way you've come after us. And again, most importantly, not only that, just because, again, flip the tables. If you think they would have reached out and said, come up here to MSNBC so we can open communications again. I mean, come on, stop.
We got to get this nomination. He should not be the deputy. He's got to run. The deputy runs the building, but Kash has got to be the front page. It's got to be the front porch of it. How important is Kash in doing that?
Well, I think Kash would be great, Steve, and so I'll hold back my congratulations until we see what the decision is. Sorry.
If Trump announces Kash Patel as the FBI, you are going to have full-blown. There's reports that Merrick Garland was shocked on election night. Oh, the shock is just starting. You talk about the rats scurrying, or you talk about people buying industrial-sized shredders, or just lighting the whole damn place on fire. There's a lot of people going to start to be thinking, boy, we can run, but are we going to be able to hide? And the answer is no.
Yeah, sorry.
But tell me about hold it. But for Kash, there's all this concern that they can't get confirmed. Talk about Trump's got two alternatives, and he said you just did the one in 1998 that he's going to use the Vacancies Act. But yours is actually more aggressive. What can President Trump do to get Gates confirmed and to get Patel confirmed if he needs it?
Well, before I unpack the recess appointments clause a little bit, Steve, let me say this. It's even better than that because you can combine the two tools. You could recess appoint somebody, and then that lasts basically for 2 years until the end of the next session of Congress, each session being a year. And then you can tack on another 210 days as acting after that under the Federal Vacancy Reform Act. So the tools are additive, like a kind of Kerpow synergy. So coming back to the recess appointments clause, the president has had this power since the founding of the Constitution. Hundreds and hundreds of recess appointments have been made in our history, including by modern presidents. And for some reason, surprise, surprise, the media and a lot of the never-Trumper types want to pretend that this is not a power that the president has, or if he exercises it, the sky comes falling. None of that is true. And why is it that President Trump is looking at exercising that power now? It's because the confirmation process, especially as to Republicans, has gotten out of control. In my lifetime, I've seen Judge Bork, an honorable man, a Yale law professor, massive antitrust theorist, go down because of attacks. I've seen Clarence Thomas, them nearly take him out with their high-tech lynching, and I've seen them attempt to take out Brett Kavanaugh, which thankfully was stopped by Mike Davis and others working with Justice Kavanaugh. So in order to push back on that in the hurly-burly of the separation of powers, President Trump is talking about using this recess appointments clause power, and there are many of us who think that he should in order to set right the boundaries between the branches of the government.
Davis, you've done confirmations in some of the toughest at the Supreme Court. Is Clark right? Is that the confirmation process gotten so bad, particularly for Trump, that he has to look at these, quite frankly, I guess, powers, but it looks like extraordinary powers, sir, including this one that Clark writes about, that he could essentially force Congress into recess and then do his recess appointments, sir?
Every option should be on the table. I was the chief counsel for nominations for the first year and a half or 18 months of Trump's administration, and Jeff Clark was one of the nominees who languished in the Senate along with many others for a senior Justice Department post. And it was because the Democrats used every obstruction tactic they could. They had the bogus Russian collusion hoax scaring the Republicans into thinking that Trump was appointing all these Russian assets into these key posts. And it's nonsense. And we should not play their games this time. I broke almost every piece of china in the Senate to make sure we confirmed President Trump's nominees, and we should not play games this time. We should move forward. And if they don't want to, if the Senate doesn't want to move forward on Trump's qualified nominees, they have a constitutional duty in the Senate. I get that. They have to make sure that the people have good character and fitness and they're qualified, but they should also defer to the president on his cabinet picks and his other senior executive branch picks. And if they want to obstruct, just to obstruct, then Trump needs to use the appointments the Vacancy Act and the recess appointments to get his people picked. I would say this about Kash Patel. He is very qualified for this job as the FBI, and he should get confirmed. And he should get confirmed very quickly because he is very good at this job. I know that Grassley's office, his chief counsel for oversight and investigations, thinks very highly of Kash Patel and worked very closely with Kash Patel on Crossfire Hurricane and other critical oversight. It knows Kash Patel is a very serious lawyer, a very serious national security official, a very serious reformer. Kash Patel is perfect to go reform the FBI, and I think he's going to have pretty strong support on the Senate Judiciary Committee with Chairman Chuck Grassley's office, and that's going to lead to his confirmation.
There you go. So once again, just pointing out that President Trump didn't go into this without a real significant constitutional plan and understanding of what his options were, clearly. So, all right, everybody, short stream this morning, 46 minutes, but just wanted to jump on here. Thought maybe we might get an announcement officially of Kash Patel here while we were on, but I would not overlook the appointment of the Energy Secretary, who looks like a very solid pick. FCC, solid pick. And by the way, can we just acknowledge before we close that Ann Seltzer has decided to retire? Oh, raise your hand, please, if you're shocked. Raise your hand if you're shocked that Ann Seltzer is retiring from polling. Really? Wow. What did it, Ann? Your fake nonsense, BS, purposeful Kamala Harris +3 poll a week out from the election that you knew was BS from the jump, and you put it out there with some hopes of spurring some support for her late in the game, knowing she was getting mauled. He wins by 14. You had her +3 a week before, and you tried to tell us all of how your numbers are different than everybody else's because you do it differently, and oh no, this is right, and there's no political motivation here. Stop. Give me a break. By the way, I love the fact that he also picked Will Scharf for White House Staff Secretary. Will is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Chris Wright is the Secretary of Energy. Caroline Leavitt, we know, Press Secretary. Doug Burgum, Secretary of Interior. Saw someone in the chat said about Burgum. I'm not a huge fan of what Burgum did in North Dakota. His war on conservatives was very clear for anybody who wanted to see it. But I think he's better at Interior with the land stuff than he would be at Energy. That would be a disaster. I think across the board, Chris Wright has gotten rave reviews as the incoming Secretary of Energy. So good stuff. Do we get the Kash Patel or the FBI? We're still waiting on that. We're still waiting on Treasury. We're still waiting on Commerce. I think that's Linda McMahon. Treasury, everything I'm seeing still seems to be pointing towards this Soros guy. But we'll see. Axios reporting today. This morning, President-elect Trump confirmed on Monday that he's planning to declare a national emergency and use the U.S. military to carry out mass deportations. Good. Who would not be in full support of that? How about the Cleveland Cavaliers? Did anyone even notice this was going on? 15-0. They've won their first 15 games. I think that's only happened like maybe, has that happened in the NBA? That's pretty wild. 15-0. Wow, that's pretty wild too. Look at this. 1721 painting predicted the Trump Elon RFK McDonald's dinner. Huh. Crazy stuff out there sometimes. Rosie Perez was calling the Tyson fight. Ouch. All right, everybody. We'll see what happens the rest of the day. We'll get ready for tonight, 8 p.m., live from Studio 6B on Real America's Voice. Should be an interesting week. I keep saying that maybe they're holding the FBI thing close to the vest, but I don't know how much longer they could hold it. A lot of speculation, obviously, about cash. Do we get it today? I mean, Bannon's talking about it as if it's absolutely already done. So we'll see what the rest of the day brings. And then we'll see you tonight, 8 p.m. live from Studio 6B. Real America's Voice. Of course, these streams brought to you by our friend Mike Lindell, MyPillow. LFS6B is the promo code to use. Good to see everybody. Thanks for jumping on. Sorry I was a little late. Just didn't feel like there was a ton to talk about this morning. We got really no announcements. So, and then the Mika stuff broke, and then the vacancies broke. So I figured we'll jump on for a little bit. Anything else? Big breaks. Obviously, I'll jump back on. We can discuss. Maybe we'll open it up to the audience. You can jump on as well if we do get a Kash Patel announcement or an FBI announcement. And if not, we'll see you tonight at 8 p.m. And then one of these nights, I'm going to do one of these nights we'll do either a Twitter Spaces or we'll do a late night stream here where we'll open it up to you too as well if you want to jump on. Maybe we'll do a Spaces, and we'll see how that goes if people are more or a little less reluctant to become a part of it and jump on the audio. So we'll see how that goes as well. All right, everybody, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you tonight at 8 p.m.